Got another replay here from Umais versus Rocket Row. Dark Elves and Empire. And a Grey Wizard for the Empire. Guess it shouldn't be that surprising. Still not super used to it. Much more used to Life Wizard in case of Franz or Balthasar Gelt. Maybe a Deathcaster, maybe Firecaster, but Shadow's Magic is good. For the Force of the Empires, we have more Pistoliers. Looks like 3 of those. 2 Empire Knights. An Outrider with Grenade Launchers in the very far back. A whole bunch of Greatswords. 5 Greatswords. And a couple Spearmen on the flanks. Boris Todbringer and a Grey Wizard with Pendulum and Melkos Mystifying Miasma. On the other side for the Dark Elves, 2 Cold One Dread Knights, 2 Dark Riders, triple Reaper Bolt Thrower, 1 Dark Rider Repeater Crossbows, Dread Spears, Blackheart Corsairs, and Bleak Swords across the front line with, of course, the Supreme Sorceress of Dark with her Soul Stealer. Empire's going to have a tough time skirmishing like they want to. Those Pistoliers and Outriders are going to get very much so pressured by the triple Reaper Bolt Throwers just over the hill. Currently a little bit of friendly fire on the Bleak Swords. Pistoliers getting a little cheeky. Maybe too cheeky for their own good, as all those are going to fire down upon them. Though so far, the spread shot of the Reaper Bolt Thrower is really not doing too much. Whether it's good dodging by the Empire or just the Bolt Thrower's spread shot being bad, hard to tell. They're now all trying to snipe the Grey Wizard, which on his Pegasus mount, he can be pretty elusive. Very small target to hit. Boris Todbringer gets a rear charge on the Bleak Swords, who are already harassed by Pistoliers, and that immediately terror routs them. And Great Swords getting involved with all these other Bleak Swords. It's just a great day for them, and Boris will terror out off another one in the blink of an eye. Empire off to a pretty good start on this advance. Fighting more stuff in the trees, and Spearmen somehow catching out Cold Ones and Dark Riders. Dark Elf front line is collapsing. Repeater Crossbow Cav trying to get some stuff done, but the 3 Bolt Throwers are in danger. Because if the Empire's front line can break through, they can just walk right up to those Bolt Thrower crews and give them a hard time. Boris diving in, going to tear out off yet another unit. And with all these Pistoliers and Empire Knights and stuff nearby, I doubt those guys will be coming back. Dark Elves are quickly being hemmed in. Melkos Mystifying Miasma onto the Cold and Dread Knights, just doing a bit of damage there. And the Shadows Caster is getting a little close to the Reaper Bolt Throwers. Not like it's going to mean that much more damage for him. It's not like they're rattling guns or something, but still. Cold Dread Knights coming out of the trees, trying to catch Boris and these Empire Knights, who are just harassing the Dark Rider Repeater Crossbows off the map. Empire front line is closing in on those Bolt Throwers like we talked about. There's just a lot of infantry. Now these Cold One Dread Knights are going to have to be used. They were already used to peel off the Empire Knights that had stopped a Reaper Bolt Thrower, but the Dread Knights will also have to sit and fight infantry, or they just have to cede the Bolt Throwers. In the backfield, though, good pick for the Dark Elves. Both Dark Riders and the Dragon Lord teaming up to take out all 3 of the Pistoliers for now. Actually, those 2 Pistoliers and an Outrider Grenade Launcher, who are rallying from their terror up, but looks like they won't be able to get too much done. Meanwhile, the infantry have killed 1 Bolt Thrower, Boris and more infantry have killed another one, and the 3rd might be on its way out. Empire is ahead on the balance of power, and I do very much agree. So the Empire is relying mostly on their infantry strength. A lot of their skirmish has been shut down. The Dark Elves have a very powerful Dragon Lord, as per usual, and then they have some Cold One Dread Knights. For such an elite cav, they're low on HP, but they still have a lot of love left to give. And then their Dark Riders are still healthy, so it's Dragon and cav versus infantry. That's about it. I mean, Boris exists, but he's not nearly as good of a unit as Supreme Sorceress of Dark. I suppose if he got to 1v1er and just never backed off or went to support of any kind and didn't use Soul Stealers, he'd be fine, but for some reason I doubt that's going to happen. Somehow this Bolt Thrower crew is still here, as swordsmen are now closing in to ruin their day. And they'll stop firing someday. Someday. Empire Knights running off, Blackheart Corsairs, Great Swords continuing to harass and beat down the poor Bleak Swords of the Dark Elves. And for the Dark Elves, they are mostly concerning themselves with chasing off the Pistoliers and Outriders in the distance, while their Dragon Lord tries to bail out some Blackheart Corsairs. She's maybe going to tear out these Great Swords. Maybe. Though Boris might also have something to say about that. And is he going to dive on her? Nah, he's leaving her alone for the most part. Cold Dread Knight's back. The other one has killed something in the very far distance, but a Melkoth Mystifying Miasma will slow them down, and Boris is actually going to land on them. He wants to team up with this Melkoths just to try and rout them off. I don't think he can tear out them, though. Are they ITP? No, they're not ITP. Wow, they can tear out. That's kind of sad. Okay, then good play for Boris. Say goodbye to them. Bolt Thrower Crew's trying to get back to their mounts, but it won't work out. We still have a Dark Rider Peter Crossbow in the distance with pretty much full ammunition and full health. And Boris did not manage to actually rout the Cold Dread Knights, so he probably won't want to dive into them completely naked. What else is going on? Last of the Pistoliers is pushed off the face of the battlefield. Dragoncaster still chasing around the Pegasus, though the Pegasus is much faster. And Empire Knights, side-charging Dread Spears with the Great Swords, of course, winning in melee combat. They should be able to rout off those Dread Spears. And Murderous Prowess has worn off at this point. Nice breath attack just off screen for the Halberdiers. Taking about 2/3 of their HP off. And now the Cold Dread Knights are routed, it looks like, with Great Sword support. Empire might have a hard time dealing with these repeater crossbows. The Empire Knights are trying to catch them, but the repeater crossbows are much faster. If they can get away from the charging knights, charge bonus on speed is a little inconsistent, so it's kind of risky, but you gotta do what you gotta do. Another Soul Stealer's thrown out of the Grey Wizard. It looks like just for damage, not healing up the dragon at all, which could prove problematic if we get to a late game scenario. Peter Crossbows in the distance, firing on the Empire Knights, trying to take out anything that's not infantry. Just want to get rid of all of the enemy agency and then leave themselves able to use all that ammunition. But they are using a good amount of their ammunition trying to secure that superiority, which means they won't have a lot of ammo to kill infantry. Supreme Sorceress does manage to tear out some great swords. Reaper Bolt Thrower Crews, one just shattered, another one's getting real low wherever the actual models are. It's hard to tell where the infantry models are, because the bug is still here where the flag is just on this specific bolt thrower. There's no infantry on it. So I don't know where the actual unit is. For the Dark Elves, all their far-flung cavalry are returning. We have a very wounded Dark Rider coming back. Both the Cold One Knights are back in the main fight. I mean, one used to be way over there chasing something off. Now we just have one routing that took a lot of damage. And actually, I have lost track of the other one. Is it dead? Yeah, Boris chased it off. Gotcha. Gotcha. Supreme Sorceress clearing out some Spearmen, though she is going to take a decent amount of damage in return. Dark Riders trying to rout off the Empire Spearmen. Other Dark Riders getting rear charged by Empire Knights and fighting Great Swords sandwiched in there. And with Boris coming to aid, oof, they are going to be gone. Another just for damage Soul Stealer on the Grey Wizard. Really want to get rid of him. But I'm starting to wonder what deals with Boris at all. Right? I mean, we said literally at the start that she doesn't want to just raw fight him without Soul Stealers, and now she's burning a lot of her Soul Stealers on the Grey Wizard. Peter Crossbow Cav is going to try and kite around as the Dark Elf Supreme Sorceress just grinds through Spearmen, but she's taking so much damage from the Spearmen, man. Big Pendulum on the Peter Crossbows routes them off, and the Shadow Wizard is going to chase him. That'll get rid of the Supreme Sorceress too. GG. The Empire front line winning out and actually carrying the game, not something you're used to, is the Pistoliers and Outriders with grenade launchers really not getting a lot done. Empire Knights also struggled a bit. Grey Wizard and Boris did fine. For Rocket, his Dragonlord paid for herself. She did okay. His front line got slaughtered. Cold One Dread Knights did their best but did not pay for themselves. Neither did the Bolt Throwers, as the Dark Riders, all versions of the Dark Riders did pretty well. GG. Roar.
Subscribe, yes.